Good morning, everyone. Welcome
Good
to
morning.
today's panel discussion on innovation in millets in India. I'm honored to be moderating this conversation with a group of experts who have dedicated their careers to promoting and advancing the use of millets in India. For the uninitiated, millets encompass a diverse group of small grain, dryland cereals, including foxtail, barnyard, finger millets, and many more. As whole grains, millets are a good source of essential nutrients and are largely cultivated in Asia and Africa, with India being the biggest producer. Millets provide prospects for enhancing food security and promoting economic growth due to their climatic resistance and flexibility. Now, shifting our focus to India, we have been witnessing increase in the awareness of millets. We also see different states coming out in support of millet cultivation, both on account of their nutritional benefit and the fact that they need less water to be cultivated. With their gluten-free nature, millets are becoming increasingly popular amongst the health-conscious consumer base as well. This, coupled with the development of new and exciting millet-based products, such as millet-based rotis, dosa, idli, noodles, and even pasta, is helping scale up domestic consumption of millets. Companies are also experimenting with innovative recipes and flavors, such as multigrain millet flour, mixed with other flours like amaranth, ragi, or jowar, to create a healthier and a tasty food options for the consumer base. In addition, the Government of India has launched several initiatives to promote the production and consumption of millets, which has further boosted the growth of the millet-based food industry. In the year 2022, the National Food Security Mission has introduced millets as a staple food in the public distribution system, providing a major boost to the millet sector in India. Observing all this support and spurt in the millet-based food consumption in India, it becomes imperative for us at Food Safety Works to explore the innovations in millet-based food. So today's conversation is going to be about how the millet-based foods in India is scaling up. And to take this forward, let me introduce you to the panel members for today's conversation. So first of all, we have with us Ms. Sharmila Oswal, deemed as the Millet Woman of India. Ms. Sharmila is the founder of Good Mom and Basila Organics. She is also the founder of India Millet Mission with a degree on water governance from MIT, NUS Singapore, and University of Nottingham. So she has a fairly firm footing in this space. She's also a board member at APIDA and was awarded Rashtriya Gaurav Puraskar and is recognized by the UN amongst the world's top 100 powerful women. Welcome to the conversation, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And it's indeed a pleasure, and highly appreciate Food Safety Works initiative in the domain of millets, especially celebrating International Year of Millets 2023.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Arun Kolege. Mr. Arun is the co-founder and CEO at Kolege Foods. Kolege Foods brings forth to the market curated, ready to cook, and ready to eat millet-based food products focused on health. Mr. Arun also holds a portfolio of the director at Earth 360 Eco Ventures Private Limited, which is a millet processing entity and is active in and around Kadiri area in Andhra Pradesh. He comes with an engineering background and has seamlessly transitioned to a millet entrepreneur role. Mr. Arun is one of the pioneers of millet-based foods in Karnataka. Welcome to the conversation, Mr. Arun.
Thank you so much, Abhinav, and welcome all of you to this discussion. And thanks, and I extend my warm greetings to my co-panelists as well. Good day to you all.
Thank you, Mr. Arun. Finally, we have with us Mr. Jaikumar. Mr. Jaikumar began his career as an industrial engineer, graduating from MSRIT, and went on to hold senior executive positions at technology giants such as Microsoft and Fujitsu Technologies in the States. In 2016, he co-founded Jayaka's Food, which runs the brand name Grami Superfoods, along with his wife. As the organization's leader, Mr. Jayakumar is in charge of developing its strategy and educating the public about the advantages of millets and the company's organic line of foods. At Grami Superfoods, he also directs new product development and technological innovation while overseeing overall performance of the company. Welcome, Mr. Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting us and welcome everybody to this wonderful session.
Thank you, Mr. Jay. And before we start, a bit about myself. My name is Abhinav. I'm the CEO at Food Safety Works. So we are a food safety solutions company based out of Bangalore with our offices in Mumbai and Delhi. And we are currently working with overall within 500 plus food businesses across the country to help them improve their food safety through implementing food safety management systems, designing the facilities that help reduce cross-contamination, ensuring product and regulatory compliance, developing new products, finding product market fit for both as well as international market. Right. So with those introductions in place, let us start today's conversation. And I think to kick off the discussions, I would request Sharmila ma'am to give us a brief on the overall state of millets and overall growth scope in India. Sharmila ma'am.
Yes. So, see, millet is, now as International Year is been declared and all the propaganda started, but millet is not new to India. It's like ancestral, ancient grain from thousands of years. I mean, it is thousands of years of old. If you will find our Vedas and even 1200 BC, you will find all millets. I mean, and from those times, millets were always been a kind of staple diet. If you see South India, or if you see Rajasthan, Gujarat, if you see Maharashtra, Odisha, I mean, everywhere, jowar, bajra, I mean, sorghum, pearl millet, finger millet was a regular part of our lifestyle. I mean, it was a kind of staple diet. So it is not new, or it is not that, something we have come to something very new, innovative word. It was very much there, part of us, but it's that with the changing times, we as a new generations forgotten this millet as an ancient grain. So India, I mean, primarily producing the highest, I mean, in the world, if you will see the 41% production of millets. So India is primarily known as the largest manufacturer, the producer of the millets, and phenomenal growth, if you will see in the market scenario also. In 2020, it was estimated, it was already done 9.95 billion, and now by 2025, it has been estimated as a 14 billion. So it's a huge scope, and millet has been having a phenomenal history, growth, and in the coming times, it is going to be rather, I will call it as a magical millet version to the world.
Thank you, Sharmila ma'am. So that's a great foundation to start the conversation. Moving on to Mr. Arun. Mr. Arun, you have had a very intricate involvement with millets right from the early days. So charting out the millet growth in India, what in your experience are some of the innovative practices which are being implemented in the production of millets in India? How has that panned out over the decades?
Okay, Abhinav, one thing I would like to say, why innovation on the first hand when it comes to millets? So if everything is as simple as that, what's the need for innovation? Suppose we have rice, we have wheat. Nobody talks about, innovation. And then next comes, when it comes specifically to millets, innovation in millets. Why? The main thing is that craving, the human craving of the tongue, the taste, the texture. So how can you make people consume millets? First of all, the first thing is the basic sort of things are, hey, no millets for me. Why? From there comes the reason to innovate in the space. So the innovation, like it could be, say, starting a day or daily consumption, the bread. Let us start with bread. Or maybe we have ragi mudde. Can we do mudde with the ragi balls? Can we do balls with other millet? It could be sorghum. Can we do biscuits and cookies? Can we like now everybody says ragi is very good. Ragi, we have ambli, we have we have this different forms, ragi dosa, ragi hittu, huri hittu, and all those things. But can we consume ragi in the form of rice? There's something. So okay, when we want to consume it in the form of rice, we need to go for a process called decortification, where you remove the peel of the skin, so that you get that, because the skin is too hard, it prevents the ragi from being cooked as such like rice. So that is one thing. Can we extrude millet? Millets are fiber rich, so they're not much given for extrusion. So how can we do the millet extrusion? How can we make it act like any other the so-called gluten, which contain gluten? Can we make it something behave very similarly to that without introducing any external gluten into it? So that is one thing. Then how can we use we all know germinated, anything consumed in the germinated form, that gives a better nutrition to the user. Can we do something in that phase? Can we do something like can we have a drink? Can we have a regular malt drink? We have ragi malt, we have any other. Can we have a foxtail millet malt? Can we have mixed malt? So such ideas, these are all the ideation phases. Like earlier when we were talking, Mr. Jaikumar was talking of the ideation, how we can think differently while coming. The flour, we have bajra flour. How can it make it behave like our regular chapati? Just all I need to pick it up and I will use it like chapati without it breaking. The user will start, the chef starts, and suppose you want to introduce, suppose you run a restaurant. From my practice, I'm telling you, have a restaurant, the customer says, I need today, I want to eat ragi, say bajra chapati or bajra roti. How can I make it almost like the chapati that we have regularly? What are the different types of how we can increase the shelf life of this? We all know that these particular millets, they are, what is good for us is good for the insects as well. So how do we prolong the life of these grains? All these things, when all of us, and this all happened in a short span of time, because the very fact that there is growing awareness has happened only in the last decade or two. So we don't have much time here. For rice, for wheat, we had a lot of time. There was an evaluation phase. People started bringing out different types of grains. People knew how the grains will exactly behave. But here we don't have the time. At the same time, we have to reach out the nutrition part of it. Most of the things that the rice and wheat that we give are devoid of nutrition. So these are, for example, I just have, if I can give me just a few seconds, I have in my hand, I don't know if you can see it here. I have a few grains of.
We can see your palm.
Right, yeah, now. I have a few grains of kodo millet here in my hand. So, and if I have this, yeah, sorry. Okay, it's simple. So if I can rub it like how a regular kaini user, the tobacco guy who uses he prepares a tobacco, just rub it like this, and then you see that after some time it loses its bran content. So the bran is the richest, and also my hand is a bit sticky. It contains oil. How do I make use of this thing? How do I sort of give it back to the to the user, to the consumer, without losing the whole the nutrition? So all these aspects play a role when we say about innovation, in the innovation phase. And innovation begins right from the beginning, from the processing stage itself. When we get the raw product, we get the millet right from the fields. We get it, and each grain, these are all small grains. It's not like paddy. And the kind of recovery rate that we have could be not more than say 65-70%. When I say recovery rate, we get the grain in its whole unhulled form, and we get the regular unpolished. I am only talking about unpolished here because unpolished millets are the ones which give the maximum nutrition. We tend to lose out on a lot of nutrition when we polish. So how do we do that? How do we give the best kind of, how do we remove the hull to the maximum, to the optimum quantity? How do we dehusk it? So all these things have a role to play at the end product. And I also have some, unfortunately, I don't know. I also have some, this one over here, kind of the little millet upma. So how do I give it in upma form? how do I make ready to eat upma? I mean, we all know that it's quite difficult to cook upma straight away, ready to eat. That's why when we are talking of ready to eat product, I sort of hesitate when you say millets in the ready to cook form. Yeah, I'm happy to say yeah, ready to cook. But when I say ready to eat, I'll always take a step backwards and I say that well, I think Krishnamurthy was asking me, Ramesh was asking me about last time we were talking of popped and puffed millets. There's a difference. Puffing is a different art and popping is a different art. Popping, yeah, it will be easy for us to, puff, pop, slightly difficult for us to pop it. So all these things come into play, for which innovation is a key, needs a lot of exercise to be put into, needs a lot of investment. I think people are making, I'm sure Jay would have made a lot of, he would have gone through the same thing. I may be parroting out the same thing that he has gone through. So these are some of the things that we sort of encounter when we are trying to bring millet onto the table. And of course, down the line, when you have a discussion, I could also talk about certain things that, I would, if time permits, I'll also be talking some more things about, the safety aspects. Okay. So,
Sure.
okay. Yeah, that's about it from my side.
Thanks, Mr. Arun. Those were really great insights. So turning to the consumer side, and I would like to direct this question to Mr. Jay. Can you please share your thoughts on the role of current trends in technology in promoting and advancing the use of millets in India?
So, and thank you for Ms. Sharmila as well as Mr. Arun for their deep insight into this topic. So if you look at it historically, right, what have we actually landed up to where we are with millets in terms of, we are talking about innovation in millets, etc. If you have taken even the last few years landscape, there has been a greater focus on health foods. And post-pandemic, more awareness into health foods, and suddenly we are rediscovering. It is easier for us to rediscover millets because it's a superfood, it's a local superfood, and it's an opportunity for us to bring down the prices, make it more available, accessible, etc. So in terms of innovation, where we have taken a look at it historically, the entire food supply chain. Where we are is because of not many decades ago, India was still very nascent in terms of bulk food production. So we were forced to look at outward solutions, and then somehow we thought that was the best. And for that period in time, because of food scarcity, a lot of the approaches that we took those days worked. That included putting excess fertilizer, trying to get the maximum productivity out of our soil, whether we added chemicals into our food, ultra-processed food, so that we could get food 24/7, 365 days across the country. So, it had to be transported from one place to another. We had to add chemicals so that we can improve those shelf life. So it was a great solution for that point in time. They use the latest technology available in those point in time. But in hindsight, over time, we have realized the havoc it's played to both Mother Nature as well as to our own bodies. The amount of chemicals and the new diseases that actually promulgated. And then we are forced to relook this entire innovation piece all over again. The advantage that from Grami that we had is, we were a startup when we started. We could actually take a fresh look at this entire chain and look at what are the current technologies available that was not available 30, 40 years ago to food producers, and see whether we can actually amalgamate both of those. And so when we looked at even millets as a primary food source, because it was a superfood. And when we see superfood, it's foods that are very dense in nutrients, has the ability for our body to absorb very rapidly because of plant-based nutrition. And there's greater awareness of plant-based nutrition today. So a lot of those factors are actually playing in our favor in terms of getting innovation, bringing those things back into it. We had wonderful packaging today that can actually increase shelf life. We have processes today both in terms of air filtration processes. We have processes in the food manufacture, packaging, etc., where we can do greater process without addition of chemicals or external agents. And we can gently process food, so where it is not over processed, and then the entire process of where nutrient absorption in the body is prevented. Millets has certain properties. So we have to be very careful, as Mr. Arun rightly pointed out, in terms of juggling both these things, that we don't overprocess where we lose nutrients. At the same time, we also have these anti-nutrients, and how do we process it so that we take out those anti-nutrients? So those are all those areas we looked at. And then there are opportunities for innovation in each one of those areas, including transportation, supply chain, refrigeration, the whole works. So we are looking at this entire gamut of all these pieces. And then also flavorings. We are having some wonderful, learnings, knowledge, research that has happened in natural flavors that we can actually add to millets. And basically millets are products that don't have much basic flavoring, little bit of nuttiness, but mostly it's pretty good to work with, and then add more pieces there. Our focus has been in the last few years is convenient food, because we want people to adopt it in a very, very busy lifestyle, right? If it is not convenient, we are not going to have that happen. We will have to bring innovation where we can bring foods right to the doorstep of the people in a convenient manner, with the least processing, with the least chemicals, so that when they consume it, they get the maximum nutrients, because people live a very busy lives. So we have at Grami continued to innovate. We have, we are also part of Indian Institute of Millet Research. So we have constantly working with the scientists, getting their learnings. We worked with TNAU for a brief period of time, getting their learnings, and then constantly we have our own R&D team in-house, where we take a lot of students from those various institutions and then put out areas where we can continue to innovate in these places. We have come out with the world's first instant millet soup dispenser, which means you can actually press a button like a coffee or tea and it is available. So we are working with corporates to get it put in all the corporate forms. We're working with government institutions to put it in government offices, so that it becomes available, accessible, and then structuring it in such a way where it is easily consumable to the end customer. So whether it is snacks, whether it is ready to cooks, ready to eats, the entire gamut. So we have 50 plus where we are continuing to innovate and bring these various food types to the end customer.
Thanks, Mr. J. So it was really interesting to hear about this soup dispensing machine. That's pretty cool, I would say, considering the fact that you're trying to make it more convenient. So getting back to Mr. Arun, I would just like to understand. I mean, you've been pretty active on the on scaling up millets, especially in Bangalore and Karnataka. So I'm also sure you would have interacted with different entrepreneurs and businesses. What are your thoughts when you interact with these people, right? So what are your thoughts on challenges and opportunities, specifically in the marketing and the promotion side of millets in India?
Yeah, challenges are aplenty. So are the so are the way outs for everything. Coming to, I had the opportunity to interact with several of my co-entrepreneurs who had been working, and many of them are going strong at it. And so there were certain things like, as I said earlier, how do we make it user friendly? So-called, I'm sorry to use the word, but because people have forgotten, it's not there in the this one, that how the millet would have tasted like. People have forgotten about it over a few generations. We sort of, the basic things like, as children, when I was growing up, or even my children for that matter, we used to prepare something called as ragi palle. That is made out of ragi. We sort of remove the the skin and sort of grind it and decant it, and then it's sun dried. And let me tell you, it gives awesome result. You can beat all this Nestle. Sorry, I shouldn't be taking the names. All these food products. Hands down. In terms of taste as well as in terms of texture, and children, why children, even the adults would love it. It's fantastic. So this is one thing, and many of the people with whom I interacted did have this thing like, let us go back to our younger days and bring out the same taste. Why don't we get something like millet churmuri? Okay, that is nothing but you have something like a regular kadlepuri kind of stuff. Why don't you do that? Why can't we go and make some murukus? Why don't we make bisibelebath? See, such things, all these basic things. And yes, we at Kauliga Foods, we did try out which is our uh, uh, quite a hit product, that is the millet bisibelebath. So when we started off with the mix, it was we brought our first trial. Say the first trial that we did, the second trial that we did, it was not up to our this one. The basic thing like hey, let us roast the dal a bit, give it a grind, and then get the texture. Such things. So it needs time, effort, and I said definitely the money is also involved. So a lot of the challenges with whom the entrepreneurs with whom I worked is time, one thing, and definitely the kind of investments that it requires. Because there are the basic, even as some basic machinery will cost about ₹1,00,000. Say a basic kind of a popping machine or a sealing machine, or a nitrogen, sealing machine. It costs some money, definitely. So these are some of the things that that call for when, and of course, most of the people who jump into this business are not from the food background, and then they end up taking some consultancy from somewhere and end up spending a lot of money. Then of course, added to that, there's a marketing cost, which roughly at the current, the make believe kind of a thing is the marketing cost should be 30% of all our investments will go into marketing. So that's a kind of standard. I don't know who has come up with that kind of standards, but yes, marketing cost definitely it takes it takes a, and then marketing takes a beating on all the resources that we would have generated. Added to that, then comes the innovation part of it. Now, yes, someone would have innovated. Now you go to that somebody, get that particular innovation onto this one. That's again a big process. When we do that, yeah, we have to go. There are licensing issues. There are follow-up issues. It doesn't come overnight. So you don't have the time to work on the innovations. Whatever is there, you try and you do it in-house to the extent possible. So that sort of puts a kind of a brake on your growth. So it's I would not want to discourage anybody or something. These are some of the things that I felt. For example, the other day I was talking to one of my friends, and I said that why don't we have a ready-to-eat upma, like how they give in the plains? And what I thought is, okay, why don't you make it? Why don't you pop that whatever is a grain, pop it and then use it? But then it doesn't work that way. Once we pop it, the texture changes and it becomes mushy. So when we give the end product, it will be something like mushy bath that we will be giving. We'll not be giving the same kind of this one. So there are multiple number of iterations. So we do need to have that kind of time. We do need to have that kind of facilities that happens. So that's where the main challenges that stops from several people from getting into this field. Of course, the bandwagon. Several, I've seen many people jumping into it. Many people thinking, yeah, they'll make big amount of money, and yeah, the health fad has kicked in for the last decade, like anything, with millets being the focus, and people thinking that, yeah, this is it. This is the superfood, and we are going to achieve wonders with it. And this is also the year of millets, so we may break the ceiling, and we may grow like anything. Yeah, but with everything comes this one is a word of caution, and of course sky's the limit, definitely, yes, but then we have to put our money where it is, where we feel that it's a right space, and we really we are very clear with the end result, multiple iterations, how we are going to market it, and how are we going to, as I saw that Jay is very this one about the packaging part. Yes, the packaging has to be perfect. It has to, only then we can, especially millets, if you have to keep the longevity, the shelf life. Otherwise, I'll simply say, no, my millet is only for 3 months or 2 months, 2.5 months. That's all. I cannot give guarantee beyond 6 months, because I have seen the kind of infestation that happens. The moment there will be storage issues, there will be, the various the small beetles you call, or the the borers and all these things, they just feast on it. So this is the these are the kind of challenges that we have. And one added thing that I would like to say over here is, especially when we are dealing with kodo millet, many people don't know this. I'm telling you in this particular forum, it can be really serious. A lot of people take it for granted. We have kodo. Kodo is excellent, and people then please, especially kodo, and to some extent, I think in some of this one in sorghum also, but not this one. I don't want to discourage, but then with kodo, we need to be a bit careful. It has to be tested. It has to be tested for aflatoxins, the cyclopenozoic acid and all that. Whatever is because when right now we are going through this upheaval of weather conditions, the weather is, we would have seen that we are, even in the millet growing areas, we had excessive rainfall. I saw in millet growing areas, they are growing paddy. To that extent, it had rained. So with that comes the humidity in the air. When there is humidity, there's a possibility of fungal attacks, and especially when it comes to kodum, the fungal attacks and all that, it can be really serious. And it's very difficult to clean it or wash it or remove that particular residue that is there, and that can be quite alarming when we have it as a food. People can tend to get disoriented. I have seen it myself. They become delirious. So, and it really sends a shiver down the spine when you see that. So all these things need to be, and these are all learnings that people should take it when they say that, yeah, jump into the market, I'm going to market, and I have a great product and all that. Please look into the nuances. Please look into the slight small nitty-gritties, and take it from people who have gone through the different cycles, and don't hesitate from taking what I would say, not the whatever inputs. Learn from others' mistakes. So this is what we need to do, because once you set up a business, it is sacrosanct. We need to achieve the end result. So that's what is my belief.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Arun. I'm sure entrepreneurs who have tuned into the session, they can draw some lessons from here. So moving on to Sharmila ma'am. Ma'am, Good Mom has been able to champion the organic millets to its consumer base. Are the millets more pest resistant than the regular grains, or do you see that the pesticides will push their way as we scale up the millet supply base in India?
Well, basically, millets by default, they are organic, they are natural. And I think technically this question rightly would have been addressed by Mr. Arun Kumar himself, because when he was addressing the marketing issue, because marketing is our funda as a Good Mom, as an emerging startup, and possibly we are the most happening startup of this country in the millet domain. So it is organic, and nowadays it is the year of millets, or the whole country's attention, or let's say the all 72 countries have accepted this agenda. Food security, nutrition is a primarily concern, but that the most important thing is climate resilient, or the water smart, or the carbon neutral. So when we are talking about the pests, it is the most resilient. I'm resistant to pests. So that is something very good quality of millets. And then it is by default, it becomes organic. So in the market scenario, as a Good Mom, as a startup, for us, it has come in a very holistic way, because there were waves, quinoa came as a wave, oats came as a wave, soya came as a wave. So now let's say we are talking about millet here. So I honestly feel that, holistic approach, if I want to put it, it should not be in the form of waves, because it is our ancient grain, which is organic, pesticides free. I mean, generally, millets doesn't require any kind of pesticides. We have our own organic clusters here in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, where we are growing millets. Now, in fact, I would like to add to Mr. Arun Kumar's, talk. As he rightly spoke about the shelf life also. Now, see, our all, if you see the placements, if you talk about the MT, GT, modern trade, G trade, ultimately it's all about business. If you want to grow millets awareness or millets, demand in the market, the whole perspective or whole, the concentration is on the shelf life. Any MTGT, I mean, on the larger scale of distribution, the first question comes, more shelf life is like 9 months or 12 months. So even for the export, now let's say Indian government has come up with a lot of plans for the exporting of millets. Now here also shelf life, and I'm really, just when I heard now Mr. Arun Kumar talking about the all intricate, very small nitty-gritties of millets, I mean, these are the all very much serious concerns on how are we all going to address these challenges on shelf life. It should not happen that at one point we are talking millet is an organic, it's like without any pesticides, healthy. But as he just now pointed out, like kodo, like it cannot be, I mean, all the time healthy also. So which millets are good, which millets are not good? This is again give rise to a debate or a discussion, that it should not come as a wave, like it is good, so everybody let's have it. Some of the gut, I mean, many people's physics, the body, the whole biology, microbiomes are different. So I mean, there is a whole lot of discussion or brainstorming definitely needed on all these particular perspectives on shelf life, or let's say marketing, because marketing has the very core fundamental that is of shelf life. And if we want to broader the scale of the millet in the market in the terms of what we are talking about, the estimated figures for 2023, shelf life is going to be, packaging is going to be an extremely important, because when we are saying it is organic, it is by default organic. So how are we going to address the all challenges? So I think this becomes a very important and significant discussion for the brainstorming.
Thanks, Shamina. Mr. Jay, I would like to understand from you that we all know that Grammy Foods has been looking at innovations on the product side. So how is the entire ecosystem driving innovations in terms of retail, product development to promote millets as a preferred food source in India? Mr. Jay, you're on mute, sir.
Excellent question. Thank you. I think over the next decade, we are at this amazing spot where this entire industry can be disrupted and transformed. The way we have done our businesses in the past is not going to be the way that we are going to do business in the future. We have seen, even in the food industry, as much as we are seeing in the technology industry, we are seeing a lot of disruption. You're seeing a lot of small players being acquired. You're seeing a lot of movement towards specialty foods, etc. Because this is a great spot for entrepreneurs to come in, because this industry is absolutely ripe for disruption. And millet being, very niche and micro niche area, it is even more possible to make changes within the small ecosystem and make a compelling impact across the ecosystem. Like you rightly pointed out, right from how we disseminate information, the government is doing a great job. But we are using a lot of electronic media, non-traditional media, influencer media, etc., to make these changes. So it is being propagated all over through these various channels. Much more channels are now being opened up. And we can continue to leverage them. The way we are doing business, mainly the food business, is quite archaic. We have been doing this for the last few hundred years, and other than packaging, we haven't done much. But this is a great opportunity for us to redefine, rethink how the entire ecosystem works, how distribution ecosystem works, how redistribution within the modern trade, general trade takes place, how we are actually moving, how we can do hot stocking in a lot of those places. How do we actually bring down the cost of distribution? How do we bring down the cost of marketing, where we get greater value that ultimately goes to the customer. Today, if you take a typical food example, close to 60% of the cost when you buy a packaged fruit today, 60% is all extraneous in terms of margins, in terms of packaging costs, in terms of other costs that actually get built into it. If we can actually, and there's great opportunity to actually bring those things down drastically, and then bring it out into the market. If you're talking about possibility of food clusters, where we, bunch of entrepreneurs can get together, come together, leverage each other's strengths in terms of putting things together, processing equipment, machineries, etc., and have a unified platform where you can push out low-cost products. I think that's a great opportunity. So there are, and even large organizations are starting to look at where we can bring innovation into the system, make huge changes. They are making very substantial investments in these areas. I think overall, I think the entire ecosystem in the next 10 years, you're going to see a lot of transformation. It is not going to be the same way. We are seeing these micro transitions, but you're going to see this wave in the next 3 to 5 years. This is what I'm predicting. You're going to see a lot more people investing in all these years, being smarter about how we are going to do things, collaborating more. As traditional entrepreneurs, we have always been in isolation. We try not to work with each other, but that is not going to be the world of the future. We will be forced to work together. We'll be forced to work with people like you, like food safety, bring you to the table, get greater knowledge, and then collectively say, how do you take this greater knowledge and then take these foods to across the world? You're going to see this global supply chains being established. You're going to see Africa being a large player in the millet space. You will be seeing, because of the space that they're doing, a lot of governments in Africa are promoting it. Given the impetus of the millets, you're going to see more of this. And from us, again, from here, where originally we are about 70 or 80% of our agricultural land was with millets, and less than 10%. The numbers are even more drastically low. But you'll see that slow growth coming back. You will see prices coming down, hopefully, in the next 3 to 5 years. You'll see those changes being there with greater awareness. Now, the important thing is, how do we put these various mechanisms in place where people do understand nutrition, as Ms. Sharmila rightly pointed out, is very individual. What is good for you need not be the best for me. The way you absorb nutrition need not be the best way. And I'm seeing there's going to be a greater push in terms of apps, etc., where we're going to talk about individual nutrition, where you're going to be, nutrition is going to be tailor-made and prescriptive for each individual. If there are 4 individuals in the family, it is going to be prescriptive for 4. So maybe not the same millets for all 4, but there could be more prescriptive based on your body type, your ability to absorb, etc. So we'll find a lot of those things coming in. We are going to see, it's a very exciting space right now. If you look at the food space and the nutrition space, it's very exciting. What are the things we can achieve, given that how rudimentary the existing system is? I think it's going to be something that we are going to rock in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm foreseeing more and more entrepreneurs from where we were 5 years ago in terms of millet entrepreneurs. Now I go there, I see a lot more people coming in. And somebody was talking about low numbers here. Just in Bangalore, we just had a millet meet, and we had about, at least about 60 millet entrepreneurs and 200 odd people who are interested in millet and making millet their lifestyle coming in. You're going to see more of that happening, because no longer can we take, assume that nutrition is somehow going to get absorbed in a system and then we're going to manage things with pharma. No, it is going to be holistic. People are going to get more aware of it, and it's great opportunity all along. And I think we should just embrace technology and embrace innovation and then bring everything to the table.
Thanks, Mr. Jay. I think one thing which you pointed out is that we are moving to a more collaborative ecosystem that should help, in the longer run. And of course, with the intervention of technology, we see more of bespoke solutioning coming up. Thanks for that, Mr. Jay. Mr. Aaron, speaking of product development, and we believe that largely stems from innovation in cooking and recipe development. How, in your view, innovation in cooking can contribute to an increase in the popularity and consumption of millets?
Yeah. First of all, as I told that time, the first thing is into the human heart. I'm not telling in ladies or man's heart or anyone. Human heart is the taste. Okay. So how exactly do we give something like how the way my mom would prepare? Okay. So bring it to the table. Uh, so what happens is now people don't have the time. So how do we get it to the market? For example, simple thing like say a pongal. Pongal is a South Indian. This one or a khichdi. Uh, let's not talk of something like say pasta or something. Yeah, children, my own children, they fight over that. Now the thing is, how do we get that particular taste? How do we get that kind of product onto the table? It is again a kind of a collaboration. Get the right people on the table, put the minds together, get the right uh, kind of product mix, and see to it that what the yeah
Mr.
yeah. So uh, we need to dwell on our own judgment as well as our own backgrounds. How good we can, how best product can be brought to the table. That comes after multiple, as I said, multiple iterations. How can we get the best pongal and ready to it should be ready to eat. We don't have time to to even cook. Like hot water, pour hot water, we have the pongal. Right now these are some of the things that we are still, I think there's a long way to go in that particular space. A few of the entrepreneurs have brought in, and that's where the collaborative efforts will have a larger say over here. It's like each one learns from the other's experience. How for example, I found that roasting and slight grinding, as I said, for bisibele vaat or for pongal, I found it that played a role in making the product much more acceptable, much more tasty. uh, the lentils part of it. And again, how do I get the extruded products? How do I get the extruded products? Now, for example, now people want, the children will especially want to snack. They'll get, but what I saw in that particular space, we still have a long way to go. We have uh, like products like equivalent to say kurkure or something like that. These are some of the things that we need to work around and make it much more popular, so that the farmer also has a kind of a incentive. He will try to produce more. Than right now he would have left his land fallow. He wouldn't have that kind of incentive to go for. I'm talking from the grassroots level as well. How do the market connect? So only then the production will increase. Now once the market starts feeling that, yeah, I need this particular product, I like this particular product, I'll go for that. And it is the dividing line between a popped jowar and the dividing line between the popped the regular corn it should be seamless. There shouldn't be anything like that. It should, the taste wise, or the finally it's a taste. And of course the health unfortunately comes later, but first is a taste. So all these things play a vital role in this aspect. How again it calls for innovation. And of course there are multiple people I can just name, quite a people who have entered into the market, who are now innovating on different products that they're bringing out. You name the product, yes, I have this particular machine which could bring you this one. I had a problem in getting popped items some time back, or puffed items. Now we have machines. We have the extrusion machines. I'd been to GKVK to study there. They said that they had an extrusion machine. So I went. That was a learning phase for me also. I went along with some sorghum powder, and I went, but this one failed. My experiment failed miserably because I didn't have that particular knowledge on how to do it. But the same thing may not happen now. We may get better results, and it's all about learning and how quickly we learn, how quickly we need, and how quickly we go to the market. So this is what will be the trump card in the coming couple of years. So yes, the sky is the limit, and we need to reach out millets to the market in a much bigger way, so that we are healthy, our future generation is also healthy.
Thanks, Mr. Arun. I think one of the points which you brought out was to explore techniques like extrusion and roasting, and see how that can help us develop new product lines. Thanks for that.
That's a few things. There are much more, plenty more. What
sure.
I could think about. Yes,
I'm sure about that. Yeah. Ms. Sharmila, I'd like to bring you into the conversation. So we've all known that in the past few years the agricultural growth has been phenomenal in India, and of course millets have contributed robustly to that growth. More and more, the Indian government itself has begun to rebrand millets as nutri cereals instead of coarse cereals. So, in your opinion, when you look at government policies or whatever policies are being framed by the Ministry of Agriculture, what pointers you would like to bring forth, which will help the right set of policies being framed and therefore help millets grow in India?
Actually, presently, the first part you said that, we have started calling coarse grain as a nutri cereal. If you see, there is a history to it. Like 2018, India declared on a nationally as a millet year for India. Now, coarse grain to nutri cereal, this journey is again been a phenomenal and historical. Even on the side of policy making, there are huge changes which government has brought into the day-to-day practices with the FPOs, FPCs, ICS, MSP rates. Like for the millets, they have already started giving the very good MSP. Then also started incentivizing seeds. If you see Women and Child, Ministry of Women and Child, they have come up with the Nutri Gardens, where the kids and where the children would be, understanding the significance of why to eat this nutri cereal. What is the difference between diversified crops and the dietary? So there are the changes between them, and they themselves will understand that what nutri cereal plays part. So. And more than all of this, government has come up with an excellent policies and excellent boosters. If you see RKVY, that is Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, under which they have started supporting the farmers rain-fed area development program, and this Raftar, RKVY Raftar is again another one supporting the startups, entrepreneurs of India. So there are so many things on the government side happening, on the policy side happening. Nutri cereals now, calling it as a nutri cereal itself is an outstanding thing. If you see in the market, whatever flakes are available, they are full of like maybe GMO, or let's say cornflakes are there. So if you'll compare with cornflakes to the, let's say, jowar flakes or bajra flakes, it's anytime more nutritious. And well, as again, repeatedly, I will say that every body is different. So what is suiting me is an individual thing. So we cannot generalize that millets are very good, so everybody must eat it. So even there are, many times, many aspects, like if somebody is having thyroid, or somebody's, digestion issues, or they are not able to digest, So how much that nutri cereals, we are talking about nutri cereals. So there are a lot of pros and cons. Policy-wise, government is doing huge efforts, and even APEDA, because I am presently on the APEDA, where if you will see the plan for the 2023 is absolutely amazing. outstanding. 16, international countries, consortiums are planned. Gulf Food is coming up, Biofarc is coming up, Natural Expo USA is coming up. Everywhere millets have been promoted. If you'll see now, Dubai is fully advertised by the millets. The whole banners, hoardings put by the government of India, promoting millets. So policy-wise, through the APEDA export, government has come up with the lots of initiatives where buyers, suppliers meet, then doing awareness, then the national campaign, international campaign, then choosing the international chefs from the world, and then they coming up with and creating the recipes. Now here again, the taste component, like let's say in India, we may talk about, let's say, desi taste, but that may not be for the present new age consumer or the new generation. So where new generation would be opting for smoky barbecue, Mexican pizza, salsa taste, peri peri, cheese and herb, which may not be, like, let's say, the organizations who are working on their taste. That is again very, all these challenges are there. But at the same time, now presently in India, more than 500 startups are there in millets, and everybody is trying to coming up with some innovation, some kind of, this taste is a very biggest element. So when we are talking about the policy making, when we are talking about the nutri-cereal, it all goes hand in hand. It's very much complementary to each other. And the best part is Government of India, Ministry of Agriculture, Farmers Welfare, Ministry of Commerce, Women and Child Development, everybody has come up with the fantastic plans. I mean, I don't think before this I have ever seen ministries working so proactively, promoting millets or promoting nutri-cereals, and which is embodying the food security and nutrition. So nutritional security is the major agenda which has been taken care on this policy making on the larger side.
Thank you, Mr. So I understand there is a lot being done, and I'm sure there can be more things that could be added to it. Mr. I'm circling back to you, and I would like to bring the food safety perspective to the entire millet supply chain. What has been your experience in addressing ways and means to improve the shelf life of processed millets, millet flours, and other millet products?
Yeah, it is with the kind of resources that we had, we sort of did some kind of in-house methods to sort of improve the shelf life. So one thing was going to the basic thing, see to it that we don't encourage any of these pests, so-called pests, to enter. It could be borers, it could be beetles, the smoke or the moth. These things, they sort of, they have to be stopped at the door itself. So be it meshing, be it sort of mothballing, so-called mothballing of the machines, just cleaning the whole right from the impellers, everything, where there's always a tendency for the moths to go and build the egg sacs and all that. So clean up the stuff, be more focused on it. Of course, that also comes with learning. We tend to forget that when the machine runs through its cycle, there are residues which are left behind, and these are very tempting for the for the insects. So this is one thing. And second is to always try to keep your stock. Suppose you have a 10-ton stock in the godown. So timely first way to live with our problems. That is one thing, that we timely dispersal of the stock. Suppose we have an order, so against the order you start manufacturing, and then send it to the just in time, send it to the market. Third is, okay, now we have done that, we have the brass tacks, whatever is possible we have done. Next comes it could be sort of vacuum sealing. It could be, so that helps in a way to a large extent bring down the kind of the infestation, be it nitrogen sealing or vacuum sealing. That is one thing. Third is, how do we now there is always a possibility that some eggs, get into the get into the products. So is there a way of eliminating it? So this is one thing that we thought. One more thing that we thought of was roasting. Just give a mild roast to the to our products, especially when it comes to um, this suji, the ravas. The ravas, we always give a mild roast. Ravas get for some reason, I found that it gets infested very quickly, very quick. In 15 days, we send out ravas, and then there are complaints saying that massive infestation. Somehow, I think we give it right, on a platter for the insects to come and feed. Maybe it makes it more insect friendly. So give a mild roast to the ravas. So extend, that is one way of extending the life. And we were very much tempted. There are so many things in the market. You have some always vary of, there are certain what to say, tablets which come, which you keep it somewhere in the factory or in the manufacturing center, and people claim, all the moths don't come, this one don't come, but we have sort of shied away from that, because I don't know if it can do that much to the moth. It can do something to us as well. So we have not taken the pesticide route at all. And of course, the various techniques, like, keeping all the the older grains first, whatever comes last, bring it to the first and start pushing, because we need to always have a stock at our warehouse. We buy the stock for almost 2 years, so that when it is in the shelled husk form, they don't get infested. Only when you present it, you remove it, make it very tempting, is just when you dehusk. The moment you dehusk, all hell breaks loose, and we have a lot of infestation. Of course, the traditional methods like keeping the neem and all that, yeah, that can happen at house levels, place the neem leaves and all that, but that doesn't happen when we talk of an industry as such. So that one we are not, of course, we say we encourage. And one thing I found is very effective is, suppose you have many of my people, my customers, they come and they say that, how do I increase the shelf life of my, say, little millet or barnyard millet or troso millet, whichever millet? I find that I do understand that there is a far amount of infestation. That is something that we have to live with it at times. But is there a way that I can increase the shelf life? So I suggested that, why don't you refrigerate it? You just keep it in the fridge. That is one thing. When it comes to the end customer, keeping in the particular packet in the fridge, that's absolutely no pestilence. It goes on, like, for a year you can keep it, you can take as in. But then for that you need to have a fridge which can accommodate, and the people who are using the same at home should be friendly towards that as well. That particular aspect of keeping grains in the fridge, so that does help. So these are some of the things that these are not great innovations, but what we can do at the basic level. Of course, for other things we have double thick plastics, and to prevent, even there are borers which can even drill through the the packed plastics, and they can infringe upon the into the create their own ecosystem within the small grains. So these things do happen. And then there are plastics, of course, they sort of get the moisture can get into the get in the packets also, and make the product rancid. Again, rancidity is one thing that we can easily make out once. As I showed you, the millet, when you stick, there's oil content in the bran. So there's a tendency of the millet to become rancid. It has a bitter taste. Many people come back to me and say that, yeah, while tasting, there will be a bitter aftertaste. That's a rancidity part of it, which sets in because of the oil content. of the millet. And of course, unfortunately, we don't want to do away with the bran, because that is what gives a lot of nutrition. So these are some of the things that we can do it in-house with a little bit of common sense and build upon that. That can always be done. And technology definitely plays a big role over here. Okay, from where do we take it further? How do we prevent that? Let us have that the silver lining across and prevent extra moisture from infiltrating uh, into the grains or whatever is the product. So this is what we could do. And of course, technology comes later. What we can do at the beginning, this is what I can tell.
Thanks, Mr. So I could see Mr. Jay smiling while you were talking about the challenges of the storage, etc. So I believe all of you here on the panel are running businesses which is handling scale. And one of the larger challenges of doing a B2C product is maintaining the SKUs, number of SKUs. And I would probably ask Mr. Jay to throw some light on this, considering that there's a whole range of product mix at Grammy. How is it that your team has been able to stay agile and manage the supply chain, considering the spoilages in the millets what Mr. Arun just spoke about?
Yeah, that's what makes all our lives so interesting. So there is never a quiet moment. We have to wear multiple hats, right from product innovator, product developer, common sense scientist, researcher, and we wear all these multiple hats, and our teams are also learning to wear these multiple hats. So we have a very good intern program in our company, which is kind of oversubscribed by students all the time. But going out of it, a lot of them have taken these to other industries as well, and we continue to propagate that. So the instilling this, knowledge, which has been very ancient and historic, and how we need to do it into this current generation of food technologists and food students as they come out becomes very critical, because coming into the industry, startups now, food startups and mainly millet-based startups play this important role in forming a lot of people's ideas, etc. So it's been very interesting because of this knowledge already that is being shared by colleges. They come to a large extent with some awareness, telling, hey, I would like to know more about millets. I know that millet is the future, etc. I said, that's a great start. Now from there, from this, can we create a very robust cradle that as they are propagating into the industry, that people are, the food technologists and food students are becoming more aware of the possibilities, and then going and driving these possibilities to this large, industrial areas, or they become entrepreneurs on their own. That becomes very critical. So that is where our focus has always been on trying to get them to understand what the latest research is stating in these various areas. We getting them to leverage the power of knowledge, because research papers are available online, getting them to start learning from these research papers, building on those research papers across the world. Across the world, the good thing is, if you look at it, there are a lot of researchers currently going on millets and superfoods and health-based foods with greater knowledge in terms of glycemic index, glycemic load, things like that, impact of food in human, because that as a subject has not been broached upon, right? You have food technologists, and then you have nutritionists, and then you have doctors, all these different lines. So, unfortunately or fortunately, people like entrepreneurs like us are forced to bridge that gap and get this learning, in terms of, hey, this is the way you process it, but if you process it this way, it has a negative effect on your body. And this is how it actually impacts your body. So we try to draw this line and then actually put this out together, so where people, the food technologists are not isolated in just creating a product, but also understand the impacts these create on the human body. So that is where we are trying to make it just about, not about manufacturing it in isolation, but manufacturing it in holistic sense, where we are keeping the nature and Mother Earth on one side, we are keeping the human body on the other side, and then we are also trying to keep it cost effective, and we are trying to create products that will help humans to consume better, people to consume better, consumers to consume better, and in a more knowledgeable way. So those are the steps that we are currently taking, which is a lot of training of our interns, bringing that knowledge up. Working with institute like CFTRI, IIMR, GKVK, all great institutes of knowledge, and then trying to take all this knowledge, put it together, make amazing products, and then bring it out to the consumer. So in a nutshell, that's how we have approached this problem. And I think, and it's paying the dividend, because we are seeing also a lot more newer entrepreneurs having this holistic outlook, and then having very intelligent conversation, and then coming out with the end product that's the best for our consumers.
Thanks, Mr. Jain. So I believe you're catching them young. All right. Taking the conversation back to Sharmila ma'am, I'm sure in your circles you have interacted with a lot of consumer groups and consumers as well. What do you feel in terms of value adds is, if you can list down, let's say, at least 2 to 3 value adds which will make millets more popular? Some of the, I think, pointers have already been listed by Mr. Jay and Mr. Arun. If you could please add your views as well, that would be great for the
actually, now as like post-COVID, the whole thinking pattern is changed, and vaccines are not the only solution, but how do you make your immunity strong? Or most of us, the whole basic fundamental is about the microbiome. So if when it comes to a consumer's behavioral pattern, now they are being used to, let's say, rice or wheat from all these so many years. And also, like, if you will see, the pattern of consumer is changing. They are now so much for the oats, even in the market, you will see when they are buying, they will see if it is healthy, immediately they will pick up from the shelf. So let's say healthy. Now that healthy word is also very much interpreted in many ways. So let's say we are having millet cookies or millet pasta, millet noodles, anything. But the most important part becomes like what proportion of millets is put in this, because many times gimmicks of the marketing or the companies, they may come up with, okay, like there is hardly, if you will see, like, in the market, whatever the healthy products are there, that health component, that 1% maybe oats or quinoa or millets, and then 99% if it is maida or the all, unhealthy thing, then it's like all these are gimmicks. But the consumer is becoming very aware nowadays. If you will see, they do read the ingredients, they do read the nutrition pattern. I know like recently, some of my experiences with the consumer interactions, like natural sugars, like putting, let's say, jaggery on the puff or pop, the sorghums, what we are making from the millet. And so actually natural sugars are there from the jaggery. But consumer had raised this, concern that what kind of, so even if it is a jaggery, that ingredient has to be listed that okay, it is a sucrose, fructose, or what kind of natural sugars. So value wise, yes, because of these products, life has become easy. But at the same time, people are more on the tastes, then they are also more on the it's like, if you will see, many of the consumers will say, at home nobody's, except South India, I see that they are very much aware of millets, so it is very regular. But if we'll see North India, I want to share one very funny experience. In Radisson, we arranged millet festival. We have had 200 millet recipes, out of which many of them were the South Indian recipes, very interesting. I myself is an ardent lover of South Indian recipes. We had all the mixture, Gujarati, Rajasthani, Maharashtrian, South Indian. Now, the community of North India, when they tasted all those, so after tasting those products, they're, like some of these Punjabis women, they told me, ma'am, can we have some samosa or some, aloo paratha or something to make over the taste on the tongue? So that made me feel, oh my God. So the consumer pattern varies, differentiates, I mean, state to state. So in South India, you will give them pongal, bisibale bhat, lemon rice, millet biryani. They will eat it with a great pleasure. And the community, let's say Jai Kumar, Arun Kumar, you will munch on it because it is your, it is in very much there, in your times, or it is your food. But if you will see present generation, I'm sure you will agree to it. Your children or even working women, they have no time to make, let's say, chapatis or bhakri or khichdi and bimaro ka khana. It's like, it looks like a very, ill people food. So consumer behavioral pattern, even I'm sure Bangalore is the same. Still Bangalore, I consider, because of the, you have a nice variety of idlis made of, let's say, millets. I remember Venkatji, I mean this, our President of India, Vice President of India, he traveled to Vishakhapatnam to taste those idlis made of, what was it, kodo or some little millet idli, made in some leaves. Something very interesting, innovative, lovely. So, but the thing is, again, coming to this part of world, let's say Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, this region, here the test element. अब जिसने बंबई का वड़ा पाव खाया है, पाव भाजी खाया है, they are like looking for that kind of taste. Or let's say Delhi crowd, paneer, I mean, or maybe samosas. So there are a lot of challenges for, this having this demand of millets. Otherwise, it's the only, like, let's say, one state which is predominantly extremely, I find South India is a god, because all god is also residing to South India. I'm sorry, Mr. Arun and Mr. Jai, I have this fight with God that why all are in the South India only. some of you please come to Pune and Mumbai also. So coming to summarizing your question, consumers needs to be, getting awareness on the value propositions, on the health perspectives, as there has to be a lot of regularly awareness, national campaign, then day-to-day life. It will take time. So it's not that year of millet. So 23 end of year, the millet year will finish and big bang. I mean, nobody's talking of it like soya, like oats and quinoa. This is a 5 years plan actually. And government is working on the same direction, that the all efforts are being taken care for the 5 years plan, strategies, execution, implementation. And I'm sure Jai Kumar, who is here, Arun Kumar, you're working on so fabulously, working on the tastes or shelf life. And I would really like to have some brainstorming with you also, both of you, that how can we cater this, very dynamic market, which is very much taste oriented. Now that taste, which is like, these regions or maybe international markets, like we are talking about going global. We want India to make it as a global millet hub. How do we do it? So we will have to cater the tastes of European or Americans, or, so I think the journey has just begun, and we all coming together will definitely make it possible happen. And I think consumers' behavioral pattern, every day we are studying, we are understanding their needs, requirement. So in all that, and also price sensitive, because some 5 positive millets, if you see, they are like expensive, very expensive. So the moment, we say that, okay, diabetic reversal is possible through positive millets, or positive millets are very good, like foxtail, kodo, barnyard, proso, but they are so expensive. In Delhi, Gurgaon Mall, you will find 300 rupees, some 200 gram of foxtail or proso, 300 grams. So it's so expensive. So price sensitive, markets are very price sensitive. Consumer is definitely price sensitive. If in the market, let's say a foreign noodle is getting sold, which is so popular, every home has that noodle. Okay. So if that is getting like 20 rupees and millet noodle is in the market of 100 rupees, nobody is going to touch it unless some very niche, extremely niche class will just touch it. So we need a masses, we need a consumer masses. So we need to definitely work on the pricings, we need to work on the taste, awareness, health perspective, these all will make a huge demand for millets. And I'm pretty sure coming years are our years, because we are the all millet ambassadors and we are the milletpreneurs. So definitely hoping for, with Mr. Arun Kumar and Mr. Jay Kumar, we will be doing a lot of work together in future.
Thanks, Sharmila. So I believe we can expect a millet samosa or a millet vada pav in the market. All right. So, all right. So this has been a fantastic conversation so far. I think we have some time to take in some audience questions. Let me quickly look that up. All right. So the first question is by Insha Noreen. And her question is, what can be done to reduce the bitterness aftertaste in millet products? I feel they discourage people from adopting them in daily lives. I think Mr. Arun touched upon this. Mr. Arun, would you like to take this up?
So it's regarding the aftertaste, is it?
Yes.
Aftertaste, yeah. The aftertaste, typically it comes from the freshness of the product. So as I said, the millets consumed fresh, typically it won't have, barring one or two, won't have an aftertaste as such. Preparing it in fresh. Of course, now again comes a thing like, the old rice, the new rice, kind of old wheat, new wheat kind of thing. But in millets, always, we have an issue. It's always better to consume it afresh. So going through the shelf life and all that, again coming back to the same thing. So that's a kind of helps in getting a better taste. And so if there's a kind of aftertaste, as I said, it could be because of rancidity a bit. But then if we have to say that by default, if some of the millets do have some kind of aftertaste, then you have to make it like, we need to enhance the taste. Like we could just, I'm telling you, so for example, suppose we are using the millets as in combination. Suppose we are making, as Madam Sharmila Madam wanted to say, give a reply to the people in Punjab whether samosa can be prepared out of it. Yes, we can prepare. It really comes out very well. Of course, it's not, but unfortunately, with some kind of addition of a wheat. I have tried it with 40-60%, 40% of millet and 60% of whole grain wheat. The samosa was fantabulous. I can vouch for it. It was really very good. So again, this such kind of things, small bit of changes here and there, that helps us addressing this aftertaste kind of a concern and make people more receptive towards millets. Take small steps at a time. Make it, add on. So tomorrow, we don't know, we may have a whole millet samosa. So which, of course, so far I have not been able to do that. Of course, with the aloo stuffing, without aloo, there cannot be a samosa. Of course, there are other things like, yeah. So this, of course, we may have a piece samosa or whatever we think different kind of things. So this is one way. Try to consume the straight off the shelf quickly within the stipulated time of whatever has been mentioned by the manufacturer. Of course, manufacturer also may fail, because it can, they may, you may say that the best before 6 months, it may not happen at all that way. Always take, for me, 3 months is a safe, from my experience, 3 months is a safe kind of a limit. Pick it up, prepare, and I think that will help in this particular, that may answer your query.
Thanks, Mr. Arun. We'll take the next question. Okay, so the next question is from Mr. Ramesh itself. So there's a question about digestibility of millet products. How much truth is there on this aspect? Ms. Shamila, would you like to take this?
Well, I mean, because, it's considered as a heavy and it's like full of fibers, as we say, or the characteristics or the properties of millets, that makes it, definitely taking time on, absorption. Also, it is very lowest in glycemic index. It's like gluten free. So definitely, like rice and wheat, it doesn't immediately get absorbed into your bloodstream. So I think in the digestion, definitely, if you have gut issues, if you have digestion issues, definitely you have to consult medical advice before taking millets. Definitely, I will suggest, I mean, because everybody's have that gut or microbiomes are different. So your microbiome may react in certain fashion which others may not. Or let's say, particularly if you belong to South India state, it's like in the genes, it's like local to vocal. Your own local growing produce may not affect on your digestion because you are used to that, your ancestors are used to it. So there are a lot of, I mean, circumstantial situation, families, ancestral, and your own digestion, your own gut, and your own microbiome.
Thanks. Let's look at the next question. Okay, so taking this forward a bit, so is there a scope of brewing using millets? Is that some value add which can come from there? Mr. Jay, would you like to take this up?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question? I didn't get that.
Yeah, I'll do that. Is there a scope of brewing using millets?
Absolutely. So if you look at it, even traditionally, right, a lot of African beers do come from millets, that they've used that. Traditionally, India brewers have used, hops, and so that has been the base. Interestingly, the last time we had in Bangalore, when we had the National Millet Meet, there were a few microbreweries who decided to support millets and had millet brew week. So it's a definite possibility. It actually, and it's very popular. Fermented brew is very popular in Africa. Still, a lot of very popular brews are there in Africa, and I think is a great opportunity for brew entrepreneurs to actually start millet-based brews. And I think both from a cost perspective, from a health perspective, I think this will be a great drink, and that people would enjoy. So I think the opportunity is there, the options are there, and I think even traditionally also fermented millets have been used and are currently being used in a lot of rural setup. They are very good for your body, has what we call as a cooling effect, or low metabolic activity, gets absorbed into your system better. Fermenting and has been always part of the millet story, so they can continue to do brews and take that forward.
Thanks, Mr. Jay. So okay, so I think we had the time to just take that many questions. So we'd like to start wrapping up the session now. We'll request each one of you to add on some quick final remarks to the entire conversation. Let's start with Mr. Jay.
Hey, thanks once again for inviting us, and for my fellow panelists as well. Thank you so much for your insights. And as Ms. Sharmila rightly pointed out, it will be a great opportunity to continue to engage as well as collaborate. We should be doing that going forward. To all our viewers, thank you again for spending the time and asking those probing questions. And now, International Year of Millets, a lot of opportunities in terms of entrepreneurships, in terms of improving your health. So do support one of the world's oldest grains. Let's take this knowledge and go take it across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jay. Mr. Arun, would you quickly like to add to that?
Yeah, thank you, Abhinav and team. And thanks to my co-panelists and the participants. This has been a wonderful round of interaction. Of course, you left us all in a high because the last question was the brew part of it. Yeah. And so, yes.
Come back.
That was on purpose.
Yeah, so to add to what Mr. Jay told, yes, if we can, I have my own take on this particular thing. I tried home winemaking with millets because I replaced um, wheat uh, with little millet. Yeah, and the result was it was very nice. People appreciated it. So this is what I could I could share my learning experience here, and this has been and as Ms. Sharmila and Mr. Jay also pointed out, things should be collaborative. uh, Only then we can take it further. Then it builds up. There's something called as a threshold limit. We call in physics, you call, or whatever. There's a threshold limit for everything, and then everything becomes an avalanche. So I think things are building up to that particular threshold, and uh, I foresee a great future. And it is partly because of our lifestyle also, and the global changes in the weather. We have to take this one recourse to millets. And coming to the taste aspects, the taste aspect across all, it should be all encompassing. Like Punjab, or as Ms. Sharmila said, we shouldn't feel that it's something alien. These are some of the things that we need to work in. Slowly build up the taste part of it. Get into the you know genes. That happens over a period of time. You can't give shock treatment. So till such time, mix, yeah, mix and match little bit, say 10%, 20%. Just build up. Then it automatically it gets into the stream. So yeah, thanks a lot, Abhinav, for this particular opportunity, and my best wishes to Jay and Shamil also. We'll interact in future too. Uh, Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Arun. Shamina, can we have some last words from you?
Yes, thank you so much, all team of food safety, and Arun Kumar, you moderating for such a wonderful session, my co-panelist, and the question came from Noreen for the taste. I really would like to put it the perspective on this, that we eat Karela, right? Karela is a bitter gourd. We eat Karela with a great liking, or even if it is like very bitter. There are few things in our daily cooking, or like our lunches or meals. There are few things like mirch, it's very spicy, but we enjoy that kick. So I think train your mindset that these are all millets, these are ancient grains. So even if it is having that sour taste after eating, because I'm sure, like, even in the ready-made products ready to eat in the market, every product has a sour taste. Because this I know from my GT and MT experiences, my consumers feedbacks, that the sour taste is there. Yes, we all have people like Arun Kumar, Jay Kumar, or all these scientists have to really work on it to combat on the taste particularly. But I think as a consumer, as a having eating millets, I think if we train our mind that अगर थोड़ा कड़वा भी है, करेला भी तो खाते ही है ना हम. So because you need that good bacteria, inside you, so everything cannot be good, tasty. So maybe little, just train your mind that maybe new innovations are on a way. 100% there will be, changes after certain time. I don't think you will find this. So start eating millets in a proportionate way, right? Use a word proportion, with balancing your samatol ahar, chauras ahar, 25% formula, where your proteins important, your fibers, salads important, everything is important. So start including millets. It's not that every day you eat millet, honestly speaking, because many times when we are saying a year of millet, it doesn't mean that every day you eat only millet and millet. No, maybe you start, like, gradually bringing introducing small part of millet in your one of the meal, maybe lunch, because it's hard and heavy. And considering that, give time to yourself, see whether you're having digestion, or like properly it's suiting. I'm telling you, there are a lot of consumers who have stopped on their reversal of diabetes. That is happening all around India. We have so many successful cases. So millets are working like a sanjeevni. So we have created a logo and a kind of a movement, and it's a food revolution, that ghar ghar millet, har ghar millet. So please start consuming it, start getting experiencing it, knowing it, and then it's like, make a friendship to millets, and then you see how it will become a very integral part of your life, and it will work on your health also very tremendously, very beautifully. So thank you so much for inviting me here. And let's celebrate this International Year of Millets by having millets in our lifestyle day to day. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thanks, Shavina. So that concludes our conversation for today. I would like to thank all our panelists for their insights and expertise, and of course the audience for their participation. This has been a valuable and enlightening session for everybody who's tuned in. And as we wrap up, I'll just quickly talk a bit about Food Safety Works. So we are a compliance, regulatory, and food consulting company on a mission to keep food safe and nutritious for humans. We help clients with design, implementation of standards, regulatory compliance for national and international standards. Food safety conversation is basically an effort from our side to share knowledge of practitioners on various aspects of food and safety. This is a monthly feature. You can write into us at feedback@foodsafetyworks.com, and you can share your views. You can also share topics which you would like us to cover. We would be happy to see how and when we can cover that. You can stay updated on our webinars on the YouTube channel which we have. You can also follow Food Safety Works on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Our handle is @FoodSafetyWorks. We regularly share news and insights about what is going on in the world of food safety. As a company, we are committed to sharing the knowledge and providing end-to-end solutions for food safety. We also conduct regular training sessions, online and offline both, including fast-track trainings as per the FSI mandate. We also conduct value-added sessions under the banner of upskills sessions, workshops. You can register on a training portal, which is called as academy.foodsafetyworks.com. We also have an Android app, which you can download from the Play Store. And that's where our academy works. That will help you stay updated on trainings and webinars which we conduct. And of course, that also helps to share the knowledge which we time and again publish. To check out how we can help you on your journey of health, safety, and food, please visit the website www.foodsafetyworks.com. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you once again, all of you, for tuning in, and have a nice day ahead.
Thank
Thanks
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.